Bray Bramley and Harry Cobden, of course, that was fourth in the Triumph. That's a 7-1 shot. 10-1 Kiely's Place. St. Bacco is 12-1 and Jalan Dudari 16-1. But then this
without Calypso chance, and that's it. Away first time for the Alanna Holmes champion novice hurdle. Grade 1, 2.5 miles, and it is Kiely's Place who leads them on their way towards flight number 1, which is down along the side of the track. King Rasko gave prominent towards the outside of St. Bacco, and they're being followed in behind by Jalan Dudari. New Proof is down the inside, echoing silence of the light blue silks. Further back in the field is Bon Vivor on the outside of Lord Byron. So they go to race on along the side of the track towards their first, and it's going to be Patrick Mullins on Kiely's Place, the first to rise, with King Rasko Grey and Old Townend jumping in second. Towards the inside is St. Bacco. Now to Danny Mullins, leading the Mullins trio here. Just in behind them is the Elliott runner, Jalan Dudari. Next up is another Mullins runner, U Proof, in front of Echoing Silence in the light blue Kenny Alexander silks of Henry Bromhead and Darrow Keefe. Towards the back of the field, Bon Vivor and Brian Hayes, and last of all is Lord Byron and Harry Cobden. On the bend now, bringing them in towards the straight and heading towards flight number 3, Kiely's Place leads them in from King Rasko Grey in second, St. Bacco third towards the inside, and next up behind this one is Jalan Dudari. U Proof runs the rail, with on this one's outside Echoing Silence. And they in turn are being chased at the back of the field by Lord Byron and Bon Vivor. So they come now to race on up the straight, about to take flight number 3, and steady as they go, Andy. Kiely's Place being allowed to dictate.
Yeah, it is very steady here. Patrick deciding to go on Kiely's Place. He made the running when winning a maiden hurdle, wears a hood, so he was dropped in at Fairyhouse. Patrick obviously wasn't happy how that worked, so he's decided to go on. Paul will be very happy where he is, sitting in second there. He's settled, horses pulled down over the first, but he's gotten into a lovely rhythm. Danny in behind that. St. Bacco's generally a keen horse, he's taken a pull again. Jalan Dudari can get a little bit wound up, but Jack has him lovely and settled. U Proof, who made the run at Fairyhouse, that obviously JJ wasn't happy with how that went, so he's changed his tactics, but he's still running a bit keen down the inner. Darrow Keefe very happy on Echoing Silence, and we'd mentioned about Lord Byron that he came from a long way back in Aintree, and that we thought maybe he might ride him a little bit more handily, but Harry Cobden has decided not to, drop in at the back.
Kiely's Place leads them on towards flight number 5 at the top of the track from King Rasko Grey, who's going to jump it in second. St. Bacco on the inside. They're chased by Jalan Dudari with U Proof alongside Echoing Silence, and next up behind this one is Lord Byron, and as they race on the run down into the dip, last of all is Bon Vivor. So Kiely's Place pressing on as the downhill run invites them to go just that little bit quicker. King Rasko Grey never too far away. St. Bacco is just down the inside in the slipstream of the leader. Jalan Dudari is close on the terms. U Proof is just a little keen on the inside, having come down the hill. Echoing Silence on this one's outside. They're followed by Bon Vivor on the outside of Lord Byron as they take that one, and neither of those two at the back were particularly fluent as they turn now to make their way into the back straight. 2 flights along the back, 2 along the side, and 1 more will take them into the straight and out in front. It is still Kiely's Place, King Rasko Grey, and they're being followed back in behind by St. Bacco. Next up behind this one, Jalan Dudari. Further back to Echoing Silence, who's up on the outside. Then joining this one on the inside is U Proof. Still at the back, Bon Vivor and Lord Byron as they go to rise over the first along the back. And it is still Kiely's Place being followed in second spot by King Rasko Grey. St. Bacco just shades the third from Jalan Dudari. U Proof does the same to Echoing Silence, and Bon Vivor narrowly last, because just ahead of this one at the back is Lord Byron as they go out over that mistake there by Lord Byron. Drop back a length or so, having landed over that one as they continue on the run towards the next, to about to head down along the side of the track. And still Kiely's Place in leads from in second, King Rasko Grey. And then the third is St. Bacco, Jalan Dudari, Echoing Silence, U Proof still strong towards the inside. Bon Vivor and Lord Byron, and Andy, not a change in the order since the flag has dropped.
Yeah, it's been fairly sedate throughout. They're up on it to 29 miles an hour now, but they were in 30 now, but they were only going 27 there halfway down the back. So where does that leave King Rasko Grey? Well, he's in a lovely position. He's definitely in the box seat for going a steady pace, but at the same time, he's a horse that tends to grind it out as opposed to quicken all of a sudden. So I'd say off here down the side, Paul will probably want to push on. He doesn't want to turn this into a sprint. It could suit slightly faster horses, but yeah, Paul is going to try and grind it out, I'd say, from here.
So now they've got to race towards the second last, and out in front, Kiely's Place with King Rasko Grey right up on the outside. Then St. Bacco. You Proof has moved off the rail into a challenging position. Jalan Dudary's got to try and make room. Just behind these Echoing Silences come under pressure as Lord Byron tries to go forward. Bon Vivor is last. Kiely's Place taken on by King Rasko Grey. You Proof is right up on the outside now. St. Bacco's just in the pocket behind them. Jalan Dudary's come under pressure. Bon Vivor is trying to slip through on the rail to take that opportunity. Lord Byron tracks the leading four, and those four, King Rasko Grey, who hits the front for the first time, with over on the far side Kiely's Place. St. Bacco's ridden, You Proof is ridden, Lord Byron is ridden. All of a sudden there's a lot of riders getting lower in the saddle. King Rasko Grey, Paul Townend is low as well, but to most effect because he's in front. King Rasko Grey is over from in second spot. Lost Bon Vivor at the last. In second is Kiely's Place. Staying on best of the rest is Lord Byron, but King Rasko Grey is going to need to see it out now because Lord Byron is powering on the near side. King Rasko Grey at the far side hangs on for a Spring Festival double just. Lord Byron doing his best work at the end, narrowly second. Kiely's Place is third. St. Bacco, You Proof, and they're chased home by Jalan Dudary and Echoing Silence. And we have Brian Hayes up at the last. We'll give you word on his mount when we can. But King Rasko Grey has just hung on for Paul Townend, but Lord Byron, a significant mistake at the far side just at the wrong time. I didn't think it was going to make the difference. It just might have, Andy.
Yeah, perhaps King Rasko Grey definitely held on anyway. I thought Paul might have shoved on a little bit earlier because he's a horse that tends to grind it out, but as it turned out, he just about held on. I think Lord Byron tried to do a difficult thing. He's absolutely flow home, and well, I suppose you get paid to give your truthful opinion, and I think it's
closer there than it looked the first time around. I mean, that mistake over the far side of Lord Byron's, which I thought at that stage he was dropping out of it, but given what he's beaten, that mistake was the difference.
It has cost him, but he's come from a difficult position as well. He's a horse that doesn't look that slow to travel, and he's gotten a bit tight for room turning in as well. So you know, if the ball had bounced better for Lord Byron, you'd have to think he could have got his head in front.
Well, we heard from Tony Costello. If you
just look here, he's caught there. There's five in front of him, and he's trying to angle out. He's getting held in by Darragh O'Keefe. It's all just happened a little bit too late for Lord Byron.
Yeah, we heard from Tony Costello earlier. It was his Trainer House Stables who sold this fella for 250,000 at the Arkle sale. He's starting to look a little bit of value now. He won at Cheltenham so impressively, and he's managed to come back here at Punchestown. Maybe not just quite so impressive, but at the end of a hard season, you'd have to give him all credit. Down to the last years, looks even there, Lord Byron, you'd have to think, has so much still to do. But you could see that King Rasko Grey wasn't quickening to the line at this stage.
No, definitely tying up a little bit in front, and the second horse was flown at him. Good run as well from Kiely's Place. But I'd say
Rasko Grey just hang on.
Cobden might be gritting his teeth after that one.
Well, I think Katie is all set to catch up with Paul yet again, and he'll be hoping to meet her in half an hour with Lossiemouth.
Paul, well done. You got the job done, but that was really it, wasn't it?
Kind of was. If I got better, I'd have been kicking myself, to be honest. I'd have been happier if Harry came at me earlier. Just I was in front, lonely enough on my own. And when the other horse came to him, I felt him pick up again. But if I had been nabbed on the line, I'd have been kicking myself, to be honest.
Yeah, but sure, listen, you got away with it and these things happen. He's a quirky kind of a character, and he is a quirky kind of a horse, and he's a bit leery, Paul, isn't he?
That's why I'd have stayed with Patrick a little bit longer and had something pushing me a bit better, because the engine is in there, definitely in there.
He just needs to channel it a bit better, doesn't he?
I think he's just immature and takes it in. But it's a lot easier to fix that than try and put an engine in one. But when you have that, you can work on the rest. He's a talented horse.
Oh, well, definitely. I mean, if he was the opposite, and if he was free as the wind and trying and running with the choke out, and you were trying to settle him, it's a different story. He's just a bit leery underneath you, and he just takes a bit of organising, and it looks simple, but it's not. When you come down to it's not.
It's at that level, they're kind of the margins that can cost you on the novices when they're still learning their game a bit. But no, I'd rather have him than try and beat him all the same going forward. I think he's got a big future, and I don't know, will he ever be a flashy horse to come down the straight on his own. But we had one of them before that won a lot of races too.
Oh, 100%. And I think he's always just going to get the job done. And as you said, he's never going to be over flashy. And his jumping is fine. He gets from A to B, but it's not electric.
It's just, I actually think he doesn't get the credit for the size of him that he is. He needs to mature physically and mentally, and he will, and he'll be fine. Like, he rides well over a hurdle, but you're never making too much ground. He jumped well today, but I don't know, it's not my decision. We'll see what Willie does. but I'd love to face down to a bigger obstacle on him.
Well, he's a horse that's definitely going the right direction, and I'm sure a bigger obstacle will be better again. Paul, well done. Best
Thanks,
of luck
million.
next.
Thank you.